you can.
Yeah, sure. Akshay ji.
So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
now,
Yes, sir.
yes.
सभी को सादर जय जिनेंद्र। मैत्री भाव जगत में मेरा सब जीवों से नित्य रहे, दीन दुखी जीवों पर मेरे उर से करुणा स्रोत बहे। दुर्जन क्रूर कुमार्गरतों पर शोभ नहीं मुझको आवे, साम्य भाव रखूं मैं उन पर, ऐसी परिणति हो जावे। गुणी जनों को देख हृदय में मेरे प्रेम उमड़ आवे, बने जहां तक उनकी सेवा, करके यह मन सुख पावे। हो नहीं कृतघ्न कभी मैं, द्रोहन मेरे उर आवे, गुण ग्रहण का भाव रहे नित, दृष्टि ने दोषों पर जावे। सभी को सादर जय जिनेंद्र।
Thank you
Jai
very much.
Jinendra.
Yes, thank you very much, Akshat, for Mangalacharan. Now I would
Thank you.
request
Welcome.
Professor Rajmal ji for the topic of today, that is the Earth's atmosphere under criticality. So I would request Professor Rajmal ji for delivering his talk.
बोलिए आदिनाथ भगवान की जय। महाराज साहब आपके चरणों में वंदामी बारंबार। And now there is some sound noise is coming. I'm getting some noise from backside. Shall I start? I'm audible.
Yes, you can
Yes,
start.
you are audible.
Can you see my full screen now?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. See, today is my topic related to what we call in our Jainism Vayukaya Jeev. So, today's topic is related to Earth's atmosphere, Vayumandal. And in order to explain many important subjects concerned with this Vayukaya Jeev, I have to first clarify some fundamentals, basic concepts, which are very necessary. So those are related to two important things. One, the first is related to Prana and Paryapti. So I will clarify some basic facts related to Prana and Paryapti. And then I will go a very preliminary physics formulae to clarify the electromagnetic spectrum. We have been talking in my past lectures also about the electromagnetic spectrum when I was discussing the cosmos and the Agni, that is Akashkaya Jeev and Agnikaya Jeev. But now it is very much necessary to distinguish various kinds of waves which are we observing, we are discussing also, and we hear from different people. So first I would like to talk what is Prana and Paryapti. As you can see, that any given organism, say for example, I am there, and on the other hand, there is a very, very small mosquito is also there. and the third is the ant, Chitti. Now, we all three are organisms, but each has a different kind of life, and that is life we see, and that life is physical. That is physical life which we see, and you identify by your eyes, oh, this is mosquito, this is Rajmal, that is a human being, and here is the ant. But basically, the inside, the one and one same, and that is what we call as an absolute life, and that is the soul. So without soul, first of all, no life is possible. We should realize that. So whatever we have, the life by which we live, जिससे हम जीवित हैं, the life through which we are living is the absolute life. While on the other hand, the life through which we are doing our all actions, our karmas, etc., that is vyavhar life or practical life or professional life, behavior life. So life actually now you can understand, I have split up into two types of life. One is the absolute life, that is nishchay life. The second, vyavhar, that is behavioral life. However, the life itself means that which is a living organism, and that is the pran is there, it means, and that pran, that soul, is existing inside that behavioral life. Now, when we say behavioral life, means there are some important forces which we are talking, or the organs, or those kinds of prans are also there in the behavior. So what are those? So first we say that the five senses, that small microbe has only one sense, or the tree tower, which is immobile, also has only one, but it is real worldly life. While on the contrary, monkey or any other animal has five senses, and in between there are other 2, 3, 4 senses lives are there. But within the five senses also, we split up into two parts. One with the sentient, that is brain, mind is functioning, and the other one with the non-sentient. So basically the five senses I should consider as the real indriyas working for my deeds, my karma, plus three things which always we talk: mind, speech, plus my physical body, which I told in the beginning. So 3, 5 plus 3, 8, plus as a function of age, time, that is longevity, 9, and plus last, my respiratory system, the breathing which I am taking, and that also applies. So basically, I should say I have the 10 forces, 10 pran, basically, by which I do all my karmas, my work, my tasks. So that is the one you can say the related, all that. But whether all these 10 prans will work, we should ask question whether they will work if the nishtay or absolute life, that soul, is not there. No, without the soul, or when the if you subtract, if you minus this soul, then this is, I mean, not meaningful. Means it is a dead body. Okay, so soul is very important. Nowadays, people are talking that the soul is related to the consciousness, or consciousness itself is the soul. I would like to say no, it is not like that. Neither consciousness is different, soul is different, and mind or the brain is different. So all three are different parts. and lot of research is going on in all over the globe. Now, if with this all these things, that is maximum 10 plants are possible in a given, I mean, this organism, and that is only with the human being, not with the other organisms. I would like to say about Prana in our canonical texts already has been written and has been defined in various ways. If you take the Panchastikaya or any other Panch Sangraha, Dhavla, Jai Dhavla, or Komatsar Jeev Kant, whichever, and then you can find it out that what they say, some say that as one lives with external organs, that is Dravya, that is Pudgal. So it means my all Vyavhar life or behavior, practical, is actually I have derived from the Pudgal only. And my spiritual, that is the basically absolute, that is the soul, is already has come from the one after other, and that is the eternal thing. Okay, so now we can say that basically any life is one is the internal, the other is the external, and that whatever we live with by the external, we also live with the internal. And if internal has gone, that is soul has gone, means the external body has no meaning. Similarly, in other canonical texts has been told that the basis on which our all organs or the creatures which live is Prana. That is the life. Here it has been given in some kind of a very summary that whatever we are doing, our body is functioning, basis of that is Prana. It means whatever the external things is working, but the base inside is that soul, and that is the Prana. Now, if we further define, then we can say the Bhav Pran, that is spiritual. And for spiritual also, again has been told that all our indriyas, that is senses and forces, which I talked, longevity plus the our respiratory system. So that is all part of that 10 forces which are working, and that is base of behind that is the bhav, that is our absolute life. So like that in many canonical texts, it has been defined in different ways. Our acharyas also have told in a very different way that the absolute life, basically the soul is embedded and it has related direct relation with our integrated or omni knowledge philosophy, that is Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, and Samyak Charitra. That is omni philosophy, our knowledge and conduct. So that is also the life. Coming to the now another part that is related to the, I mean, Pudgal, Panchastika says that all materialistic life, that is Vyavhar life or behavior, is basically found, it is created, it is found of different Pudgals. Now this is very small shloka, small verse, but this has a great meaning. It means different Pudgals, and as a function of Pudgals of different particles, which we classify as a Varganas, and so different organs are formed by different Pudgal Varganas. So means now how those different Pudgal Varganas will enter and form that organ, that is very important. And in that context, actually, it is very important that it has to enter from somewhere. So how it enters, and that entering, that process through which that Pudgal Vargana comes to the life is known as Paryapti. That is the you know that our what we call is a suffici, sufficient, but sufficient is enough paryapt, but paryapti is very. So what happens now? I please try to understand now this point. As soon as birth takes place, means the soul was already somewhere else, and now that soul has become eternal because of the death of that someone else's life, and that soul has entered into the vulva yoni, that is place of birth. And as soon as that birth starts, immediately immediately the that birth, that process of from the soup, wherever it is, the vulva, the soup, or through that, the matter actually goes to the feeding, that is food part, ahar, ahar vargana, that is a food group. That is the first process starts, and that is the part of paryapti. So paryaptis are different, 6 types of paryapti, but the first, very first, is ahar, and as soon as this food goes inside, then that through the food process, all the other organs start to develop. Means after that, another different kinds of the Pudgal Varganas, they will enter, and the body will start, say, for example, different Indriya senses will, as per their his karmic sharir, in one sense, two sense, three sense, birth will take place, then respiratory system will develop, speech will develop, and mind will develop. So, so all these varganas will come, and the process of entering of these different varganas is known as paryapti. Now there is a one important point. I took some time to tell you, explain you this much, but it is not like that, that this much time is required for that. As soon as the birth takes place inside, evolution starts. I should say evolution word. So evolution starts immediately in within 48 minutes. The 48 minutes means one mahurata time, one mahurat, and within 48 minutes means it is antar mahurat. Means antar mahurat means less than 48 minutes. So this process begins, and it takes sometimes less than nanosecond also for some. And in within that time, within 1 second, many birth takes place, and also the life dies also. So that, but why it happens? Question is that depends on his karmas, karmic body, along with Tejas body, what the soul has entered inside, and what should happen, that is decided, basically it is dictated by that karmic body. I would like to say here also explain, many people when they ask me, they are getting confused or they have wrong impression. When we say the 84 lakh yoni, the people understand that there are 84 lakhs, that is 8.4 million species are there. That is the only, and that is what they confused. No, I would like to say 8.4 million yoni. Yoni means the place, location where the birth takes place. Okay, and the species, that is prajati, there are many prajatis, many species. As far as the science itself has discovered, more than at least 8.7 million to even 1 trillion, almost 10 to the power 12, you can say. So it is about somewhere you can say 8.7 into 10 to the power 6 to 10 to the power 12, or that much number of species are there. And this actually now makes very important the today's subject, because we are very much aware only about the species or the kind of organs which we see with our eyes. But what will happen to those we don't see, and whether they are really creative and they are very important for us or not, That is my subject of today's. I would like to say a few words also that when all these things anyway I have told that about Antar Muhurat, etc. Now this basically the whatever the work has been done, that is deeds, whatever the activities have been done by us, accordingly to that, accordingly to that, our karma body has been framed, designed, and that how it has been done, that is the process is through tejas or the plasma body or the electromagnetic body, and that is our important role. And all these two bodies, that is the tejas body plus karman body, they cover the whole soul inside. So soul basically, if you say, it is our conception, our concept that many major power or shaktiyan, capabilities are in that soul. Although it looks it or it is eternal, but it is always encased. It is covered by these two, karman body and above that tejas body, and then above that whatever the physical body be. I can talk about this much in a detailed way when we will talk how this karman process takes place. Maybe after two lectures, the turn will come, but only I have covered today because it is necessary to bring into the picture today in my this talk. The other thing which I would like to talk here, and I will come also in my talk about the electromagnetic field. Throughout the whole earth, when I was talking to you, the sun was also electromagnetic and the earth is also electromagnetic. If you remember my last talk, when I was giving the earth's north pole and south pole, they are magnetic field. Okay, and perpendicular to that is always electric field, or wherever the electric field is there, perpendicular to that is magnetic field. So you ask me that what is this meaning? E is electric field, B is magnetic field, and cross means they are perpendicular to each other. So why these two are important for this? Because of the tejas. The tejas itself is some kind of a charged particle, and this is much more sensitive to all kinds of waves which are there. And these waves already in the nature are there, and if you are creating and if you are come under the influence of this electromagnetic waves, then it means you are doing much more bad things for your own as well as for others. So that we will discuss how they actually the bondage takes place in the science, according to the science. So that is the up to this thing. Now I would like to say that for different senses, how much kind of paryaptis are there and prans are there. Now, for example, a bacteria, a very small, which is not even visible, or a virus, but still you know that it has meaning, it has actions, or even a star, even a tree. It is a single sense. But whatever I'm talking today is worldly, sansari ji. I'm not talking, I have not yet come to the stage of Vayukaya ji. Please wait for that. So whatever they have, so development as with the evolution, the paryaptis which I told, that is Pudgal thing which is keep on coming. So how much paryaptis is possible, how much pran are possible? The pran I have already given you once again, just for reminding you the five indriyas, the five sense, plus I told mind, speech, and physical body, plus longevity, and plus respiratory. So total 10 are possible. Out of 10, for different kind of indriyas, senses, how much prana are possible and paryaptis, that is listed in this, and you can watch and note down over there. Now, for example, I would like to say, some people say the tree is only one sense. Nothing can be possible for that, but no, actually it can listen. It can listen your voice. And if you remember, one time I had shown the video also about the evolution growth of a plant. Okay, and maybe next time again we will take similar kind of videos. So it has that. Then the tree also has a respiratory system. We will see it in today's my talk that it takes oxygen and it really it takes carbon dioxide and it releases oxygen. So respiratory system is also there. So all those, and it has a physical structure. So at least 4 prana are there and 4 paryaptis are there. So like that, please note down this. This may be important for all of you for the question system also. Okay, now I am coming to my another big concept about electromagnetic system. You all know, generally people talk the Einstein equation that E equal to mc square like that. So energy, in fact, can be written in various forms, in various different mathematical forms also. E equal to mc square is not the always final. It can be written E equal to h nu also, which is one of the same thing, where h is the Planck constant. And in the first equation, E equal to mc, E is the energy, m is the mass, c is the velocity of light. Please remember this much at least, very briefly, very initial small things I'm introducing you. I'm not going to very hard mathematics. When I say E equal to h nu, that is h is Planck constant, some constant, and nu is the frequency. Now, you must remember the frequency means the number of oscillations in a wave. Number of oscillations in a wave per unit time. If more number of oscillations are there per unit time, it means it is more frequency. And if less number of oscillations per second per unit time means the small frequency. When small frequency, it means the next I have written hc by lambda. Lambda is the wavelength. So whenever you can simply realize E is equal to h nu equal to hc by lambda, means nu is more. That is, whenever the frequency is more and more, the lambda is smaller and smaller. Or whenever the nu is smaller, that frequency is smaller, lambda, the wavelength, will be larger and larger. And this is very important in my today's talk. And in next moment, I will tell you what do I mean by that. The energy in what we talk in our physical world is related to also the gravitational field on one side. But if it is something is moving outside, then it is related to the velocity. So E equal to mgh, that is mass into gravity into the height at a given surface. While same thing can be written, the kinetic energy mv, that is half mv square, that is v is the velocity. The other thing is energy also can be written into the form of the density and temperature, which I have been talking. 3 important quantities all the time, which are very important in the Jainism: pressure, temperature, and density. So this E equal to nkt, n is the density, k is Boltzmann constant, and T is the temperature. So when I talk pressure means force per unit area, that F by A, and the same can be written energy as a work done, that is F into D. So it is nothing but the PAD, that is pressure applied on a area, and how much that pressure displaces by a given distance is also the energy. And so all these things work all together, and that is what have been described in qualitative way, of course, not in such a mathematical way, but it has been described in our canonical texts, and that is what we will do. Let me show you the spectrum. When I told this E equal to h nu equal to hc by lambda, so what do I mean by that? And what do I mean by the very high frequency and the low frequency? First of all, I say that please see on my right side when in this picture, and you see that lot of vibrations, oscillations in a very short time. If you can see my mouse cursor, then large number of oscillations are there on my right side of this spectrum. That is, it means frequency is very high, means energy is very high, and that is the gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, they all are there. Okay, please remember. So whenever the frequency is high, means the energy is high, and that is very high energy. They are dangerous rays or the waves, you can say, or energetic particles, etc. That is on right side. So all those photons with the smaller cross section or the area, they are released from the cosmos, from the sun, but of that high energy, we cannot see. Please remember, we cannot see this. They are arriving and they have been discovered by different techniques. That is the techniques, technology. We have derived the hard X-rays or soft X-rays or gamma rays, ultraviolet rays, extreme ultraviolet rays, they all are. So why? Because they have the very small cross section and they move very fast with the oscillations. When we come at a certain age, time limit of this, then we are able to see the light. That is the light which we see outside in the daytime. That is what we call as a visible light, that is outside the sunlight, and that is the very small fraction of the whole electromagnetic spectrum. Can you see at it is shown in this at a very central this place, and that is the visible. So visible actually is very small. It is a very small window on the whole electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, and as we go on my left side, then you can see the waves are there, but they are moving slowly. Means slowly means their amplitude is maybe of that certain height, but their wavelength is very long. Means means they are in the what we call as the radio waves, infrasonic waves, or microwaves, etc., etc. What we use for the telecommunication, what we use for the mobiles, or what we use for the satellite data technology, etc., and all many or the earthquake when comes, then infrasonic waves, or when we remain silent and we what we do. The best example what Bhagwan Mahavir gave us, when you remain the maun, the silence, and that is silence meditation, and whatever you give a thought, that thought wave, that thought wave is falls under this long wavelength, that is this left side, that is what we call as a sonic and infrasonic waves, or even our sound waves, etc. All these are from left side. So this is basically some kind of a division of the electromagnetic spectrum energy. So basically now, just to conclude, on my right side, where the high frequency waves are there, the photons are there, they all are the high energy, and they have very small oscillations, very fast moving things, and very high. On the other hand, because the left side is the very low energy, that is the frequency is smaller, but the wavelength is longer. So now what you can conjecture, a model out of that this short wavelength, that is high frequency, high energy, they have very high energy, then they carry the large energy which may be dangerous to the all kind of life. But on the other hand, this long wavelengths can go all the way from surface of the earth to the space. So from Atma Pradesh, the soul point, to the space point. The space point may be close to you, just like I am sitting here to deliver my lecture, but surrounding me, there are many space points. In 1 meter space, in 100-meter space, in the atmosphere, out of the atmosphere, and all the way in the sky. The large, infinite number of space points are there, but how I can vibrate, how I can vibrate that space point is an important task, and that is done mainly by these infrasonic waves, or we can say that Karman waves through the Tejas, etc. We will discuss all that sometimes later, not today. Today, my important point was to highlight you about and to tell you very deliberately about this electromagnetic spectrum. So now I'm coming to my main topic, Earth's atmosphere. First, let me give the definition of Earth's atmosphere. Basically, if you see the atmosphere of the Earth, when I say, means it is the some kind of a layers of air, of different gases. And when I combine all those collectively, all that collection of the gases, that is termed as air. So remember, air is actually a composition of different gases, and they are distributed at different height as a function of altitude. So these gases may be of the different nature and different characteristics, etc. So atmosphere basically of the whole Earth is evolution and protection for the life. So why it has been told that our atmosphere, Vayu, is a jeev. Itself is a one sense jeev. See, not worldly, sansarik jeev nahi. It has been termed as for Agni, for Akash, and I told earlier also that those are also spiritual life which provide the energy for the evolution and protection for the nurturing the sansaric worldly life, and they are also considered as a G. And so there was one question by I think Mr. Vijay Kumar last time or something. So there we should split up worldly life or spiritual life. Basically, all these sources of energy, all sources of energy are jiva one sense, but because that one sense means energy, and this wind or air, it has a energy, and that energy basically gives the evolution of the animal or any kind of this uh, life, maybe from microbes to the five sense. Okay? How it possible? Because of the pressure actually, which is exerting, the pressure which is being exerted P along with the height, okay, that is important. And as because of that pressure, what has happened that the water is in the form of the liquid and it is distributed all over the surface. Then the our atmosphere, these layers of gases has also temperature, which is required for the evolution of the life. It has the density also around that. There is some kind of a arrow over here. I don't know who has done that, all that thing. Anyway, so lots of, so pressure, temperature, and the air has in the column that density. So all these are suitable. They are suitable on this, our earth. And that's why we are surviving. And so the evolution also takes place as well as it takes place our protection. And this definition of this from the science, but basically if you compare with our Jain canonical text, it is the same. That is what I told, that the Vayukaya Ji is basically source of energy, which is helping for the evolution as well as the protection, same like Agni, Akash, like that. And this definition is basically the coming from the Jainism only, but it has been proven on the scientific basis. So let me first now split up, divide that what are the different parts of the Earth's atmosphere. Are you able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, yes, yes. The lecture is clear.
There is some line is drawn on my
Yeah,
PPT
somebody.
slide.
Yeah, somebody has drawn. So who has done? Please remove it.
Can it be removed, because sometimes it covers my fonts.
Yes. So, Suril, can you?
Anyway, please, this is my
That is
humble request.
okay.
This is my humble request.
Professor G, this one is just done with your mouse whenever you touch it. So it is in your PPT one. So you can just press the escape and then after remove it. Okay, press the escape because you are playing in a PowerPoint, right? Yeah. And now you can play it. Okay, so now you can remove that line easily using the
No, no, no,
eraser
no.
one.
Oh,
Oh, no.
oh my
Control
God.
Z.
No, no, no.
Okay. Use that the eraser and remove that line. Select it and then remove it. No.
No, it has not come
I
from
do
my
not
mouse.
have. Hold on.
It
Okay,
has not
you
come from my
are.
mouse. No,
No,
I
this
cannot
one's.
select this line because it has not come from my mouse. Okay.
It. I do not have
It
a
has
control to your
somebody
computer.
else
Otherwise,
has
I can
done.
do it.
Okay.
But no, it is not. None of those the computers has been. That is what I
Because
was just checking it. But let
otherwise I
me.
could select that line. No, no,
You
it has
can.
not come. No, I cannot select it because it is not from me. Okay. It is unfortunate. Okay, so the what I would like to say here, very important thing, and I would like to request everyone to give full attention on this plot graph. See, on the x-axis, I have shown some quantities known as pressure, temperature, density, and even the sound speed. Okay, so please remember temperature, sound, and the pressure and density, temperature, and sound speed on the x-axis. So on the right side, they are increasing. And in the y-axis, it is the altitude, that is height above the surface of the earth. And I would like to tell you, all of you, that the two important quantities, pressure and densities, they are increasing when we come all the way to the surface of the earth. So they are increasing. Or else I can say when we go above the surface of the earth, say about 20 kilometers, then they are almost insignificant or negligible in number. So pressure and density are almost very, very small, about 20 kilometers. This is first thing which, and now here, if I define that first 10 to 12 kilometer is very important atmosphere for us, that is known as troposphere, where we really have all our weather at local level and climate at the global level. So climate changes, global weather changes, monsoon, the air, wind blows, all these things, gusts of the, and all these gases distribution, thick density is in up to the 12 kilometer, and basically monsoon etc is within the 5 to 6 kilometer. Okay, the above 12 kilometer, the what starts is very important atmosphere, stratosphere, and that within the stratosphere, which is actually up to 12 to 50 kilometer, within that, say between 30 to 30 kilometer, that is 13 to 30 kilometer, our ozonosphere is there, from where we get the good ozone also. Then above the 50 kilometer to up to 80 kilometer, we call as a mesosphere, and then above thermosphere, where the temperature again changes, and then exosphere, which goes to all the way up to 10,000 kilometers. And within that, the ionosphere is also there. Now, I will tell only those things which are important for our topic today. I will not go into the too much detail, but one important aspect about whole this atmosphere, if you see in this plot graph, then you can see that as we go above and above the surface of the earth, two other quantities, temperature and the sound, and you can see that those are decreasing, but they don't become zero. temperature and sound, they decrease up to 20 kilometer, okay? And then above 20 kilometer, above 20 kilometer, they again go to increase. They are increasing. That is a very fantastic. See that, I mean, the surprise or the wonder of the God. They are increasing back again, the temperature and the sound, both. And after the 50 kilometer or so, they again start to decrease. And after the about 80, 90 kilometer, or let us say 100 kilometer, they again go and again increase. So temperature and sound, they are keep on dancing as a function of altitude. So this temperature, this variation, this much variation, please listen, is responsible for the evolution of the life even as a function of the height. This is what we say Vayu Kai Jeev, that is Vayu actually becomes a vulva, yoni also, to give birth and to retain the life even at a higher altitude, higher heights all the way. And that is what we are going to discuss today. The another important point which I want to make, if I take you all the way back to the first era, the first eon, second eon, third eon, and then third eon, the last phase, Bhagwan Rishabdev was born. Okay, and people, I mean, this is what has been, we are saying that this part, can you see this temperature and the sound, the part which is very homogeneous and again increased, this was lower at that lower, that was the, I mean, in the near troposphere itself. And because it was very close to us, so this sound, that is what we say Bhasha Vargana, or sound was used as a weapon, or this energy was used for various kinds of things. Uh, that is what we call as a mantra. And from mantras, that is chantings, the many works were being done in those days. But later on, the when the human being more and more, I mean, started fourth phase and now fifth phase, the atmosphere we have disturbed, and this has gone little up by few tens of kilometers. Anyway, let us stop this talk thing about up to here only. But now after that month, now the tantra came actually into picture, and now currently the time in the fifth era, yantra has taken place to do all those things. But still, I believe that the the meditation with the mon, that is the silent meditation, still in sonic, infrasonic waves, I mean, has the power of that uh, to take the, I mean, the salvation or the nirjara of our karmas. Let me go, what about the composition? I have shown in the right side in my chart that 78% almost is the nitrogen is composed, 21% approximately you can say is oxygen, and the remaining only point out of that 1%, out of that 1%, 0.93% is the argon only. So now left is only hardly 0.04% carbon dioxide and blah, blah, all other gases are there. So both are the shown in the right side, my picture, the distribution of the various kinds of composition. What I would like to say here, very important one, another thing, that this basic thing, by changing as a function of the height, the different composition is changing as a function of height, that is altitude. And that itself, changing of this composition plays a key role for the pran and paryapti, both. So although worse conditions are there in the stratosphere and above the stratosphere, but still under those temperatures and sound conditions, whatever the pressure and density are there, but in spite of all those adverse conditions, the life of some type, that is what I'm going to describe today, it is possible, and they are existing there, and they are taking the food and they are developing their other Prajapatis. So if I see the same atmosphere, which I told that troposphere, stratosphere, and the mesosphere, thermosphere, from the space, if you go by aircraft, say 20 kilometer or 50 kilometer above, or that even 10 to 12 kilometer, then you can see the whole atmosphere in the bands, some colorful bands. Say in the left side, when I have shown this, the red band is the troposphere, then above is the blue is the stratosphere, and like that. And the above in the right side I have shown, and then you have seen many times at the North Pole and South Pole, the air glows. So air glows also you can see over here. Okay, I have told you that what kind of compositions are there, but how we will define this atmospheric pressure? You all know that atmospheric pressure is defined by the mercury, that is para, and pressure is always measured under that, how much it is the mercury millimeter. So 760 millimeter, I mean, is generally told as some kind of a mercury uh, as a standard pressure unit, but generally nowadays what we measure the same thing as a 760 torr. Torr was a scientist in his name, and then generally whatever the pressure which is decreasing, so we say as a function of altitude, it is in millibar, microbar, and like that. And gravity is also reduced, so we say microgravity, and all those conditions are taking place. Now, if you see that the where is the most suitable, then the site. So if I consider the Mount Everest as the highest, okay, that is around the more than 8 kilometer, 8.85 kilometers is the truly that is the, it's a top edge. So we have to avoid that. So mostly the aircrafts generally fly in the stratosphere, that is between 10 to 13 kilometer or 14 kilometer, and they use the power of that homogeneous temperature over there, homogeneous sound speed, and how, in what way? Because the fuel efficiency is increasing. So they also avoid this big top mountains, etc. So their efficiency has gone up in the stratosphere, and they don't have any other danger of the, I mean, collision, etc. The question now comes, a very important question comes, is very fundamental question. I hope all of you might like to know, and you may ask, why this air or the wind blows? हवा कभी कभी अच्छी प्लेजेंट रहती है और कभी टेरिबल द गस्ट्स आते हैं, राइट? सो व्हाई इट इज द एक्चुअली विंड ब्लोस? व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दैट? सो see the again the wonder of the god. The earth is distributed, it is not a plain, it has the mountains and high mountains and the low mountains, as well as it has the oceans. So generally when we talk that the highest mountain is about 7 to 8 kilometers or about that, the oceans are also, the maximum depth is about the 7 kilometers or so. So that is the some kind of a gradient, or the one top to the bottom side. Now you see that the temperature on the whole surface of the earth, on either on the mountains or the lower mountains to the near oceans and down to the oceans, temperature is not the same. Temperature is different. And because as a result of that, temperature is different, and temperature and pressure both are directly proportional quantities. So pressure also is different at the higher altitude, that is higher mountains, to the lower ones. Because of this, temperature gradients are developed, and temperature gradients or the pressure gradients are developed. So whatever the air which is at a given place, it is forced to move, and it moves along with whatever the life is there in that air at a given location. एक क्षेत्र के अंदर जब वहां पर जो भी life है, and when it moves, so the who are the quantities which are important for the temperature, because it changes, pressure changes, and density changes, and as a result, the dilution takes place, and that's the force that forces, or that is some kind of force, that gradient the wind blows. When these gradients are very strong, all of a sudden, then the winds become turbulent, gusts we call hurricanes, tornado. And when it is pleasant, then we say, oh, great, the blaze is there. And if you see our dharmastikai and adharmastikai everywhere in the space point, so in every space point, the dharmastikai and adharmastika, but they are not, I mean, directly playing the key role that they will take the whole wind as a particle or the wave, but they will help them or to make it stronger or to reduce its motion. That is dependent on the friction forces, what we call as a friction force, to stop or to reduce or to speed up the things. So if I add in this different wind motions, the motion of the earth itself also, that is the rotation. I told last time, the rotation of the earth as well as the revolution of the earth around the sun, then it will add and it will become what we call in our science as a Coriolysis forces. Okay, so those Coriolysis forces, actually, if they are almost uniform or in not insignificant or potentially high, then the winds are pleasant. But if they are adding high magnitude, then they will become the turbulent and the hurricanes will start. So what kind of this natural hazards will be there? I have a list of those things over here. Is it this line is creating any problem to you people?
No. It is not it is not hampering. Everything is clear.
Otherwise, I have to get away and again share the PPT, but that will take another 5 minutes. Let me go with this, okay?
Yes. You can continue. It is not hampering.
Okay. So what are the high national risk index and those kinds of hazards are there? So you must have heard recently when I was talking to you last time that the avalanche which took place in the Uttarakhand in the India and many other places in Canada, etc. The coastal actually floodings are there, cold waves are there, droughts are there, floods are there, earthquakes takes place. Okay, and similarly the landslides, the ice storm, lightning, then the river line flooding, many, I mean, strong winds are there, tornado, tsunamis, volcano activity, I mean, all kinds of wildfire, all these natural hazards are taking place. But among all these things, who is adding? These are the natural things. I mean, I cannot help, nobody else can help. These are controlled by the self-regulated system I already explained you, the self-organized criticality, the laws of nature. So this energy system, which I explained in the very beginning, E equal to H nu, E equal to mc square, they all are the laws of nature. You cannot do anything, you cannot touch also. But in addition to that, if we do something else, that is, we disturb this atmosphere which is created by our own nature. If we disturb the life inside that our atmosphere, or we create some kind of a violence, or we do some degradation activities, okay, by fuming the fossil fuels, etc., this and that, creating gases, etc., because of our greed, passion, ego, I have been already telling in my earlier lectures also, then we are adding all these activities. So can I have some kind of idea? You can also ask me question. All these things were there also in the past, and they are also currently. How much difference we have made? That is, how much difference we have made in accelerating these natural activities. This is a very important question on present day, and that's the whole my foundation of this course related to the non-violence. You can see that what we are doing. This is a simple plot. what I have done in this plot, I have sum up, that is integrated all the natural disasters, all the natural kinds of hazards, not single one. That is neither only earthquake nor volcanoes or nor the ice storm, but everything. And you can see, dear friends, आप सभी को मैं विशेष करके अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं. I simply humbly request, please see this plot up to 1960, up to 1950, 1960, or even up to 1965. Everything, all these natural disasters, they were under control. Why all suddenly started by one order of magnitude, two order of magnitude higher after 1960 only? And who has done all these things? Why they have increased exponentially? You know that exponentially mathematical when I say like this, okay? It is not going like this. It is going like this. So if you compare in the first, the whole plot is of 120 years approximately from 1900. So we have not done in last 60 years. We have done in last 30, 40 years so much. It means, what is the reason behind that? That the reason is our greed, our lifestyle, our fashion, our ego, our passion. We want to all do. And in spite of that, what has happened? In the last 5,000 years, we have been talking about the non-violence. Bhagwan Mahavir was not only the first. I have already told you earlier also that after Mahabharata, this Ahimsa slogans were written, the verses were written, and Ahimsa was defined in a variety of ways. Ahimsa paramam dharam, ahimsa paramam dhamam, danam, ahimsa paramam balam also. Various kinds of things about this non-violence. But I think and Bhagwan Mahavir told, Ahimsa parmo dharma, the supreme religion is non-violence. But who has followed this basic important verse as well as important point, important foundation of the non-violence? Nobody. And that's why our acharyas, they told very simple thing. See, the God is important, that is the nature is important. And they have just told, I would like to read that. Prakriti balam prabhujinam shiromani. Prakriti balam prabhujinam shiromani. Tat namastasye namastasye namostu namah. Prabhu tate prabhu jinam sharanam gacchami. Prabhu jinam sharanam gacchami. I would like to explain in English. Here, Prakriti Balam means the forces of the nature, not our forces. And Prabhu Jinam means here not the God of the Jainism, but the Almighty. Prabhu Jinam and Shiromani means the Supreme. So laws of nature are the Almighty and they are the Supreme. And therefore, we pay our respect and regards Namastasya, Namastasya, Namostu Nama. And therefore, the God Almighty, we want to follow your guideline and we want to respect and regards to you and we want to come under your shelter. That is Sharanam Gacchami means we want to obey your rules and regulations. But are we doing this in spite of so many, discussions are going on, not only at individual level, not only at institution level, at the world level, as well as the United Nations level. But you can see the plot. It is a very, very, shameful to all of us. We are really doing cruel things to our nature. I have already shown to the space garbage. Now it is related to the atmosphere, and we are killing our atmosphere. Our whole atmosphere is under criticality, and that we see further in my next also slide. See, you can see that the electricity generation, we are using the thermal. And so lots of the fossil fuel, all those countries which are the civilized country, we say, or developed country, but they are actually using more and more thermal electricity power generation, and the more and more fossil fuels are burned by them. In the manufacturing, you can see even the wildfire, that is forest fires also, and the other fogs. So all are done by us only, nobody else. God is not coming and doing all these things. So what I would like to say, that the air actually is become now polluted. And who has polluted? Only we people have done. While on the other hand, air is very important actually for the whole oxidation process. So without realizing all, we are doing all these kinds of things, the importance of the air. I would like to say air is very, very important, dear friends, for the life of all the lives, all kinds of lives. The air is most important entity, it is a reality, and because of that, the whole vitality is existing over there. See, air itself is important for our life itself. It gives us energy, and because of that energy, we are actually our taking this respiratory, that is paryapti, is because of that. That is the oxygen we are getting from that air only, not from other place. It is air. If you remove the air from this whole atmosphere or the earth, if you remove the whole air, nobody can survive even for a nanosecond. All the lives will die. Okay, so that is the what I told in the beginning. The air is a biggest energy, and as a result of that, it has been considered as a ekindriya jiva. Now, this very important name was not given by Bhagavan Mahavir in his Samosharan, but he told that the biochemical process, ahar prakriya, that is ahar paryapti, how it takes place, and that is the adenosine triphosphate, that is ATP, actually takes place during this first process when the ahar starts. And as a result of this, ATP is important. ATP actually is such a paryapti that gives energy to all other organs. And actually, it is taken from that blood cells, whatever the food is going on, and the oxygen comes. So without ATP, no other organ can develop. Please remember. So the food paryapti, ahar, is very important. And similarly, the next, you see the sound. Whatever I'm speaking here, you are listening in USA, England, and in other countries. Okay, but because of the air, if the air is not there, my voice will not go from here itself. Although electromagnetic waves are there, but nothing will happen. And so sound is basically important for the bhasha paryapti. So it is related to that. Then the you know that the air is flowing from one place to other place, and all the carriers, whatever the energy is to be transferred, right from the heat, cold, pressure, this, that. So that is done, that the carrier. So it is done by dharmastikai, adharmastikai. In every space point, it is there. And similarly, you, air is responsible for pollination. आप जानते हैं, सुना होगा हिंदी में पराग, that is from one flower to another flower. The air actually takes the male and it goes to the female and all that, and the next generation starts. So genomate actually, the process is through the pollination, and the main, source is the air. So air is responsible for many, many important processes for us. Air actually keeps the temperature, which I told, that the highest altitude, the mountains, and whatever the gradients they are developed. So minimizing those gradients, air blows, winds are blown, source is the gradient. But once the air blows, then it tries to maintain the temperature, day and night temperature difference, etc., by blowing. So with the blow, that velocity v, actually it dissipates that whole heat and tries to minimize that heat wave as well as the cold wave, etc. So air plays, you see, so much important role to maintain the life on the earth. Pollination is that is the process. And similarly, you know that for our modern life, for the communication also, and for the our this moisture, whatever in the houses, or in the offices we have the moisture removal is basically we use the air. Industrial pollution removal is the this swimming actually all. So many applications. I have not covered everything. If you will go to the internet and see what are the benefits, what is the importance of the air, you will find n number of things. I would like to say one very important thing now is, you know that in the air now lots of, I mean, the germs are there. People say that the very small life is there. How you will endorse, how you will verify that the life is there? Thanks to the coronavirus, COVID, which actually the gave the transmission and generated various kinds of, I mean, I should say, the evidences that yes, it is there. The transmission of its one variant to another variant within the air itself. So it means it endorsed, it gave us some kind of evidence that yes, some kind of a life is existing in the air. However, I would like to say it actually the discovery or investigation for the searching the life in the air at different altitude started all the way back in 1980 or so, almost now 45 years, when I was a student in USA. And when I from New Mexico, sometimes I was taken to the Arizona, where this balloon borne flights, rocket flights, they were being conducted. And at that time, I mean, this I don't want to go into detail, but there was an experiment which was being conducted in 1980 to explore the possibility of life, microorganisms in the air. And I told, why you are doing so much experiment? There is no need. In my canonical text, my epics, it is written that the whole atmosphere is full of life. I mean, the professor, he became angry. So actually, I went there to learn about the sensors, biosensors, and other high energy sensors, etc. But it's just a, I mean, some kind of episode took place. He became angry also. But later on, once his discovery was successful, then he came back to me, where it is written in your text. Then I took him to the Harvard, and finally he was happy with me. But he was also aware that I was good, at least in sensors development, etc. So what I wish to say that this basically the life is everywhere in the atmosphere. That was has been already discovered, and birth in the air as per however takes place. What is the basis of that? That is, what kind of a microbe will take a birth, whether it will be bacteria, it will be virus, or it will be fungi, or it will be of different nature. On what basis? So that basis comes on the what I discussed with you, I described few minutes back about the karma's body. So based on the karmas, it will take the birth in the atmosphere, and its life from a nanosecond to few seconds to few hours will be also dependent on its karmas. Okay, so there are very many kinds of microbes are there in the whole atmosphere. And now I would like to, because the time is over almost, so I would like to say that these three kinds of the different microorganisms have been already discovered in the atmosphere. They call the category is the life type is a bacteria, the fungi, and the virus. And I have given in this table as bacteria what kind of diseases they produce. Say, for example, the anthrax and tuberculosis, the TB, etc. And similarly, fungi, what it gives, then a virus, that malaria and the influenza, etc. Now, the what kind of cause, what is the reason behind that? Also, I have written in this what kind of I mean biological processes that take place and they get evolved that. But basically, what I will say, the process of prana and paryapti take place in the air itself. It means air itself at different locations, right from the troposphere. Please underline and try to see. in the troposphere, in the stratosphere, and even above also that take place. It means air itself provides a home, a room, it provides a vulva, it provides a yoni at that different locations, suitable place, suitable energy to take birth of the life over there. And what kind of these things? Atmosphere. Actually, basically, if you see these microbes, now just compare those which are in the troposphere in the lower atmosphere. They are much more safe because the high energy radiations, that is ultraviolet, gamma rays, X rays, they come only up to the top atmosphere, that is above 40, 50 kilometers, even above, much more, that is in the mesosphere. And all that atmosphere stops, kills over there, absorbs all that high energy radiation and protects our whole human environment, or I should say not only human, but the all organisms environment. It is protected by the atmosphere. And so everything is stopped in the mesosphere. So above 100 kilometer, we call as a space. That is space for the astronauts. So 100 kilometer is some kind of a line demarcation made by the Committee of the Space, POSPAR, and that above 100 kilometer we will call as a space, begins from here. Below 100 kilometer, Earth's atmosphere. So everything is stopped above 50 kilometer, where I told that the temperature and sound speed again go increasing and then decreasing, increasing and decreasing like that. So, but you feel now, you just imagine that what will happen to those microbes which are taking place, the birth above 10 kilometer, 12 kilometer, 15 kilometer, 20 kilometer. It means depending on the karmas, they will take birth as a function of altitude, and they will have very frequent death. But thanks to the temperature and the sound and the atmospheric conditions, even those harsh conditions, but the microbes are still alive, and not only for few seconds, but hours and days they are there, and they have a mobility. They have a mobility from the top to bottom, from the oceans to the top, go down bottom and up and bottom. They can do this kind of a thing. So this is all kinds of various organisms. Now, organisms, yes, I told just now, they are dangerous also for us. They, so whatever when we do our respiratory system breathing, we don't take only oxygen or nitrogen inside the body or even the carbon dioxide, but we take this bioaerosols, that is microorganisms, they also go inside. That is why in our Jainism, right from the beginning, it has been told that we should use the mask on our patti, on the which now only we did when the corona became very active. Anyway, so what I wish to say, dear friends, that but when I was there in 1980, the very preliminary experiments were conducted, and all the life was detected up to the 5 to 10 kilometer. Later on, the more experiments were conducted up to 15 kilometer. The life that microbes were discovered, and recently in the 2010 experiment by the NASA, this is what we call as a rapid intensification process, which included in that balloon the CCD, that is charge coupled device cameras, and their motions and the types, actually all these were discovered, and it was found that the bacteria are 20% more active at different heights than the fungi, etc. So this is the one. What are the results? Now, where is the Jainism is the wrong? I would like to ask a question to all of you. You see, already it has been described that the life, irrespective of the senses or the irrespective of the size, it is existing everywhere. However, the microbes we are talking, and the microbes in the top panel, that is bacteria, which are much more given than the fungi, and on the right side, even you can see that bright points. Each bright point is actually an integration of large number of microbes. means it is a colony. So you see that colonization is not only by the human being, they also actually make a colony and they live over there. So even nowadays, up to 50 kilometers, the already microbes have been discovered. This is very important discovery, and it endorses our Jainism that life is there even under the harsh conditions. It is there. Then this, you see, it covers 50 kilometers, means the stratosphere already has come, where the almost temperature and sound speed remain homogeneous, etc. But they are more and more suitable above the stratosphere. Then still it is found the life is there, where the conditions are very high, very hard, very hard. The temperature wise, as well as the density wise, and the sound speed becomes slow, etc. So very harsh condition, oxygen is not there, very little, almost I should say no oxygen, let us say, under those conditions. But still, and even the sometimes hard X-rays, gamma rays, ultraviolet rays, they also touch, but they are still tolerating and they are doing work for us. So this is what I told on the one side, one aspect of them, that they play the negative role with the diseases. But you will be surprised that these are the microbes. Almost those are in the troposphere and up to the lower stratosphere. What they do, they are taking with the water vapor due to the heat in the oceans, and they take that water vapor, it drop, and they sit on that. So hot, you see, so hot, but they take that and they make not one or 10 or 100 or 1,000, 10, multi thousands and thousands, and they make some kind of a cloud. And that cloud condensation, so name has been given to such aerosols or bacteria or the microbes as a cloud condensation nuclei, and they go up to the 5 kilometer, and they deposit that water vapor over there. And as I told, because of the breeze, that air wind flow, the temperature goes down, it becomes cool, and finally it comes down, and then they sit. Please underline by this point. They sit again on that water drop and they come back with the rain down to the earth. See, we are enjoying the good rains. And what we say, ah ha ha ha, क्या मस्त बारिश हो रही है, क्या मजे में बारिश हो रही है. But at what cost? Did we ask any time any question? At what cost? Microbes are actually sacrificing for us, because for each and every drop, millions of microbes are giving, sacrificing their life, and they go up from the bottom to the up, and up to bottom they bring the rainfall. This is what Bhagwan Mahavir told. Each and every life has a positive role also, and we should exploit that. Each has a important role on this whole universe. There is no one, there is no one who which doesn't have the positive role. Everyone, and so we should take care of each and every kind of life, whether it is a 1 sense or a small life or the 5 sense life, etc. In this view, what we are doing, but you see, they are playing positive role for us, but we have made this whole atmosphere, whole aviation industrialized by the aircraft, by launching the missiles, by launching the satellites, spacecraft, rockets, each and everything, and launching the carbon dioxide, not only 1 kilo or 10 kilo, 100 or 1,000 tons. It is millions of tons of carbon dioxide we are launching in the atmosphere. And as a result of this carbon dioxide, we are killing these microbes, which are playing key role, positive role for us. And now we are crying, बारिश हो नहीं रही है, there is no rains enough, or some places flooding, some places it is drought, climate has changed. Or who has changed this climate? Why this much natural disasters? Because we are not following the laws of nature. We are not following the laws of nature. We ourselves are actually killing our own atmosphere. And I would like to say also, I would like to add that in this fuel, in the aircraft, particularly in the rockets, And in the missiles, the nuclear particles like strontium, barium, and many nuclear poisonous radiations are there which produce on the earth. They fall back on the earth, and which are actually giving so much troubles to the newly born babies. I would like to say that is microbes is not only the life which use the air, but there were many important creatures were there. Almost more than 35 or 50 creatures were there which were using the air for their ground, like a ground. They were flying all the time, almost like all. I have shown three only, but and now only 10 are left. I sometimes I weep. Why only 10 are there? There were many, plenty of there. What has happened? But now they are extinct. And why they are extinct? Because the human beings have killed them, not only killed them, but their babies also, and they even their eggs, just for their luxurious non-vegetarian food. They are much more interested in that. Now those species, wo prajati, wo to now we will never be able to see also. Only 10 or 12 are left, and so we have to survive with them. This is very important question, and I would like to ask United Nations also why this happened. Where are those species? Who has killed finally? After all, what was that culture? What was that system of the humanity? Say what I wish to say at the end. There are three important other things. Do I have another 10 minutes? Is it okay?
Yes, you can take. You can take.
But only 3-4 slides, which are very
Yes.
important.
Yes.
See
Yes.
that I'm speaking here and you are hearing, but I am killing some microbes with my speech, my sound surrounding to me. But if I, at the same time, if I use now big speakers or even the loud speakers, then what will happen? In the air, those small microbes, which we call as a E. coli, some scientific names are there, and they will die. They will die within, which are in my nearby space, in the space point, which are everywhere. And so the frequencies, actually the high frequency of the sound waves, that is about 8,000. Generally we call, for your information or for your knowledge, our sound waves, my speech is between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Okay, please remember, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. High frequency is of the woman, low frequency is of the male. So high frequency, when we use this thing, and with the high power, which we call is in the decibel, you need not to go into that detail, but that when we launch these sound waves with such a high loudspeakers or in advertisements or through the televisions, etc., etc., it means, see, we are trying to kill, or we are already killing, not only millions, trillions of actually microbes have already been killed. That is why, that is why in our Jainism, in our fundamental of the ahimsa, it was told that we should exercise more and more the maun, silence. We have to keep patience also in the life. And this maun was the meditation, that was the silence meditation was given highest priority, and not to use the electromagnetic application. By not exercising this maun, silence, that we have killed. You see, the whole world has killed. And the sound is not only by the human being, by the so many machineries we have used, aircrafts we have used, missiles we have used. So large number of actually sounds waves we are generating, more intensified waves than what I showed in my electromagnetic spectrum today, much more power. And as a result, we are killing those microbes in the atmosphere itself. Friends, dear participants, I would like to share with all of you the three important kind of waves which have been already discovered in the last 2-3 decades. One is the waves related to the our heart oscillations, what we call is a our cardiac resonance frequency, which is also very small. It is in 1 hertz, not to the our my speech 20 hertz to 20,000. It is 1 hertz only. 1 hertz means the wave which takes, that is in 1 second. Okay, that number of oscillations in 1 second. That is, so you can say number of oscillations divided by time is that frequency or per second. So, but you see the brain resonance frequency, my brain is working, which is as a result of the pressure which is inside, we call it the blood pressure, is 10 hertz. And then whatever the blood circulation in my lungs, that is what we call as a respiratory system. This is in Jainism only. This force is separately designed, and it has been found in by science also. Blood circulation, that respiratory system, with the 0.05 to 0.3 hertz, means very small frequency. So what formula I told? When the frequency is small, means wavelength is large, right? Did you remember that formula why I told today? Means this frequency is smaller, means if you will remain mom, silence, your voice actually, whatever you want to say, through your thoughts or your mental state, it will go to very long distance, to the long distance space point. There was a question by a woman in some last webinar, my lecture. Anyway, I will tell in detail sometime in my next lecture. But very importantly, only in this decade, another wave has been discovered. That is what we call as a Traube herring, the two scientists, and that is 0.1 hertz, only 0.1 hertz. Means, and that is related to our mental state, our emotional state, our emotional tension, whatever we are doing from inside, not the brain, but the emotional भाव. आपका भाव क्या चल रहा है? आपके भाव में तो हिंसा का भाव चल रहा है. अरे उसको तो मैं ऐसा कर दूंगा, ये कर दूंगा. So that brain emotional tension, your mind state, I should say, or your I should say whatever the consciousness through whatever you are want to do, etc. So that for consciousness also, this is very important wave. But still, the so small frequency. So now you just imagine, I would like to propose a case that you are beating, harming a cow. So first, the cow, when you are beating it to kill it in the slaughterhouse, first they beat it very, heavily. And so first it cries with the sound speed, acoustic, that is between 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. Please remember. So that beating, that action, aap karma kar rahe hain, whatever you are doing, it is recorded through the first to the acoustic frequencies, to the close to the U. But once it has lost its energy by and large, but still it is surviving, then its mental state of that cow is working, and dua or bad dua, that's blessing or cursing, depends on your this Traube herring waves and the respiratory system. Please remember whatever I'm saying. So the waves are there, and still lower waves, that is because consciousness as a spectrum, it has many kinds of waves, and many waves, even you don't speak, but it will collide with the space points, particularly with your work, your space point, and your related tejas will oscillate and bring the energy back and right in the karma and vargana and deposit over there and there. So that process, scientific process, we will discuss sometime later. And the last which I want to say, by the electromagnetic field which we are using, mobiles, for example, televisions, our different other applications inside the office, inside the house, fans, air conditions, whatever we are using, that electromagnetic field actually killing largely, much more intensely, the microbes in whole atmosphere. They are being disturbed. And the experiment was conducted, and it was found that the application of electromagnetic field actually on the migratory birds, and they forget and they lose their brains. So experiment was conducted on the honeybees. Honeybees, you know all honeybees, right? Madhumakhi.
Yes.
So the honeybees, large number of honeybees, they were what that was done. You know our ATM card or our Aadhaar card, or there is a small chip, what we call as a RFID, radio frequency ID. So by which that, so small, very small, tiny, maybe of micron size RFID was put up in the large number of honeybees, say more than 10,000 honeybees or something like that. And then they were asked to move freely back again to their home, etc. And after that, the controlled voltage was applied and the electromagnetic radiation, that is electric and magnetic fields, were created, but under very, very simple electromagnetic field, not significantly large like electromagnetic waves of the television, etc. Then high voltage was applied, and then again ultra high voltage was applied. So I will not go into the details of these numbers, but I will use controlled data, high voltage and ultra high voltage. And you will see in this plot that when, as soon as the high voltage was applied, the bees actually migrated here and there. And when the extra high, that is what we say that ultra high frequency voltage was applied, then they forgot their path. And you know the honeybees, the characteristic rule, they, their whole thing, their system, their culture is with the queen. They all are associated with the queen. They know the path, how to go to the queen. And if they forget that path to return back to their home, that is to the queen, then means their death is compulsory. So with the application of this, that high voltage, this experiment was said, okay, successful, but they wanted to prove, of course, the lot of violence, hinsa was done, but they proved it that no, we should not use the electromagnetic application. We should not go for this high voltage electric field and magnetic field, etc. We should not do. And they refused, the scientists, please don't use this thing. But nobody agrees, no country agrees in this, and the high voltage and the large number of birds, which they, migratory birds, even they come from the Siberia or from the different countries to a different countries. I recently saw in Banaras, a large number of birds were there. When I was feeding, they were coming close to me. In 3-5 days, they started to even remember me with my voice actually. But suppose you just think that instead of giving food, that dana, corn, if I give high voltage, they will die in that Ganga river itself. They will fall down. So this is the what kind of thing happens, and that is what we are doing actually. Practically, everybody is using air conditions all over the globe, or the high heaters, electromagnetic fields. Waves are being generated through the television. Large number of medias are there, and this is used. In view of all this different, this is my last slide. What has happened that the 30 microbiologists from 9 different countries, some of them are Nobel laureate also, they prepared a document, a white document, and they published that white document as a research paper in the Nature itself. I have given the link to that, and they told to the United Nations that now no country should talk about the climate change. No one should cry the climate change, because unless you consider this unseen majority, that is unseen means those lives which we cannot see, that is microbes, particularly in the atmosphere, you want to take care, or you claim that yes, now we will not kill them. So because they are playing most important role for our biodiversity, to maintain our climate, and whatever the climate change has taken place, they say that the major fraction is has been done because of the violence against to the microbes. So with this, I would humbly and request to all of you again with my folding hands to convey this message, propagate this message to all over the world, all over the globe, of this non-violence. So what is that message? I would like to remind that of Mahavir message, Parasparo Upagraho Jivanam. Again, that is necessary on today. Every life is important, and every life has a positive role, creative role. So we should realize that, and we should not undertake any kind of violence to any extent, at any place at any given time. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sharanavandami.
Thank you. It is a wonderful talk, and you have discussed the concept of Paryapti, Pran, and also about the air-bodied living beings in a very in a very scientific way. That how humans are creating such kind of damages to all these natural resources, and because of that we are facing this kind of climate change and other issues in our day-to-day life. So it is really very informative, very interesting, and having full of knowledge about these particular human activities which are causing damage to natural resources. So I would request all our participants, if they have any question, they can ask Professor Rajmal Jain.
I would like to ask one question.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
Up till now, you explained the acoustic or the air pollution and that. I am telling that people who is using the packaging data and the waste that is produced from packaging, they can't leave their life from comfort zone. So how can we explain them that through non-violence you can avoid or waste less of the packaging material and all that?
I did not understand fully your question. When you say packaging, means this packaging plastic use, or you want to say data
Yeah,
packaging through electromagnetic
no,
application?
plastic.
Plastic. That plastic I told.
हाँ,
Anyway, it will come again in my the next to next lecture when I will talk to Prathvika ji.
क्योंकि अभी जो आपने बताया वो लोग अपना कंफर्ट जोन छोड़ के नॉन वायलेंस फॉलो करे तो होगा, बट आज का
Hey,
जनरेशन ऐसा है कि वो अपना
okay.
कंफर्ट जोन
Thank
नहीं
you.
छोड़ सकता है, तो हम
Thank
उनको
you
ऐसी क्या
for
पॉलिसीज
your
दे
question.
सकते
But
हैं?
you see, today, whatever the applications which I told is related to the, I mean, violence against the life in the atmosphere. And life in the atmosphere also, we have some comfort zones, just like electromagnetic applications, air
Yeah,
conditions, televisions,
yeah.
even laptops, and many, I mean, many applications basically. That is one thing. The second is acoustic also. I mean, nobody wants to really do any practicing the mon. Even
Yeah,
1 hour
right.
on is good enough for the, I mean, storing the energy, but nobody wants to do even that also. So today only I'm not touching those packaging, plastic, etc. In fact, that will come when I will talk about the terrestrial, that Prathvika. Okay, so we will discuss at that time.
Okay.
And thank you very much for your question. But yes, people have, you see, their lifestyle. Everybody wants to have some kind of a more comfortable, more faster. In fact, I tell you one thing, that even I sometimes, why I should criticize others, but people do not find even to watch some video has come in the WhatsApp. And if it is more than 1 minute, then I will not have passions to watch that video even for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I will, or it is too long. Okay. So fastness is there in the life, and that is harmful, basically. I have not told all those things because the time is always, when you have that kind of a habit or a characteristic, actually you are changing your blood pressure, respiratory system, and that is unhealthy symptoms. Because why? It has been told in the English that, you see, to be ambitious is a healthy symptom, but to be over ambitious or under ambitious is unhealthy symptom. So Bhagwan Mahavir, what he told is to the average, that is ambitious, but not to be over ambitious or under ambitious. And in order to be ambitious or to maintain that life culture, our life should be comfortable to some extent, but not to the large. You see, my grandparents, if you go back some 70 years back, your grandparents also lived their life with enjoyment. At that time, there were no electromagnetic, no TV was there, no telephones, no, mobiles were there. Am I right? Even healthy environment, atmosphere was very healthy.
Yeah.
And now today, uh, I can tell you this: almost 1 year has completed the war between the Russia and Ukraine. And can you imagine
Yeah.
how many trillions, not millions, billions, how many trillions or infinite number of microbes they have killed?
Mm.
And this microbes always, you see, life, it is rule. It is a rule. It is a rule of nature. It is a law of nature. I told in the small verse, Prakriti Balam, right? Prakriti Balam Prabhu Jinana. Okay. So you see, the rule, law is there. They will unite. Coronavirus came and it took millions of people. Okay. So like that, now again that something will happen back. So this 21st century, I told in my last talk also, it is going to be worse century. जिसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना विकार सदी. So it is that kind of a century, because everybody wants to live in a comfort zone in a different variety of ways, and nobody wants to leave that. Well, so basically nobody wants to do any kind of meditation, no finance. वो 5 महाव्रत है, उसका पालन कौन करता है?
Yes.
And next question.
Sharad Vora, he wants to ask any question.
Yeah. वंदामी समणी जी.
Yes.
वंदामी आपको भी. और मैं ये बोलना चाहता था.
शरद जी, जय जिनेंद्र कहिए, मुझे
जय जिनेंद्र. हाँ जी,
आप
जी, जय जिनेंद्र.
नहीं तो मुझे आप साधु बना देंगे.
हाँ, तो साधु तो बनना ही है सबका. अपना 3 मनोरथ में आता ही है साधु बनने का. ठीक है.
महाराज साहब ने तो मुझे आता तो साधु बना ही दिया है.
हाँ, तो पूरा बन जाओगे, वांदा नहीं है. मैं तो ये कहना चाहता था कि आपके जैसे दूसरे भी ज्ञानी जैन लोग हैं, तो आप लोग की टीम एक बना के सबको और भी ज्यादा दूसरा फील्ड का भी नॉलेज हम लोग को मिल सके. जिस जैन लोग जो आप जैसे विद्वान और सबकी एक कोई टीम है और है, ऐसा सवाल आया था.
हाँ, बहुत बड़ी टीम है, स्कॉलर्स की कमी नहीं है.
बहुत स्कॉलर्स हैं.
वैज्ञानिक लोग की, वैज्ञानिक.
मैं ये भी कहना चाहूंगा शरद जी, बहुत स्कॉलर्स हैं, और ये नहीं केवल भारत में हैं, बहुत सारी दुनिया के अलग अलग देशों में बहुत जगह हैं. और तो उनको सबको तो अलग अलग टॉपिक पे अलग अलग एक्सपर्टीज है. और मुझे जिस अलग अलग फील्ड का जो भी एक्सपर्टीज है, नॉलेज है, तो अगर महाराज साहब मुझे जब भी आदेश करेंगे, स्पेस एंड टाइम है, जैसे कि दूसरा रिलेटेड टू प्राण एंड पर्याप्ति. और अभी तो मैं बहुत बड़ा काम कर रहा हूँ, वो हम लोग बोलते हैं अहिंसा परमो धर्म.
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
आप सबसे बोलिए कि अपरिग्रह परमो धर्म. अब अहिंसा तो लोग भूल गए हैं, अहिंसा करना. अभी अपरिग्रह पे ज्यादा जोर देना जरूरी है.
आप यहाँ ऑरलैंडो आवे तो आ सकते हैं हमारे घर, और नासा भी यहाँ आई है ऑरलैंडो में, तो आपको भी आपका वैज्ञानिक लोग मिल जाएंगे, दोस्त लोग. नासा ऑरलैंडो में मैं रहता हूँ, आपको लेके जाऊंगा और आपको वेलकम करता हूँ. कभी भी मन हो जाए तो आ जाना. ऑरलैंडो,
मैं हर 2 साल में एक बार आता ही था. बीच में ये कोरोना आ गया, इसलिए मैं अब नहीं आया हूँ 3 साल से.
अच्छा.
लेकिन नेक्स्ट ईयर तो मैं आऊंगा ही.
अभी हमेरा भी नाम याद रखना कि शरद वोरा करके एक है यहाँ. जेबीबी में सब लोग ऐसा जानते हैं, मगर तो भी आपको रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ आना.
चलिए, ठीक है. और किसी को क्वेश्चन है? और किसी का? Is there some question from any other participant?
Vandana, I got the jigyasa.
Yes.
Yes.
They are scientists. They've done so much. Why they have to think what gone wrong and the debris is been detected and uncertainties are there? Why this happens? They are very good brains. So wouldn't they think before rather than after?
Okay. This question, your question is related to my last talk, previous talk about the space debris, right?
That's right.
Am I right?
Yes, she is talking in general that you know that this kind of pollutions are being created by the humans. So before, after we are thinking when these hazards have already been created, why you scientists could not think about all these things before?
No, scientists, first thing, science and technology is for the improvement and life. Okay. But the scientist community is 0.00001%. And the applications used that community is almost 99 point something. So larger community is the user-based community, and they want to use this lifestyle, comfort lifestyle, and as a result, the industrialist people, whether now you include the NASA or whatever, yes, we are also part of that. But basically, the people have what they have. They have a desire. They have a keen interest, self-interest, desire, ego, abhiman, pride, all those things. So whatever has been created at given time on today, it does not mean that scientists were not aware that or scientists even are today also are not aware that what will happen because of 5G or 7G. They are aware, but who will listen the voice of scientists in relative or in contrast to the money which is coming down? Okay, so this is the real fact, that scientists is a very small community. The user of industrialist business community is much larger community. So I have been telling to you, until unless that grid index you bring it down, or the people themselves make some kind of a cultural policy, large number of people, that yes, I will not go beyond this, that is a parigraha, then only we can improve the situation.
Yeah. I came across, just like now in England, there is a plastic bags. They used to use it before. Now they are stop giving the plastic bags on the shelf. So
Yes.
we came across, because making a plastic bags is the issue rather than using it. If they stopped it, giving you free, then because I came across that point, and last 10 years, plastic has been so much in England. Everywhere there is a plastic coming in between. So they are stopped making and giving the plastic. So can you see my point? If they don't make it and give it, so we don't use it.
I understood. You see why it was done. I'm aware of that thing. Even in India, many times this kind of effort was done, but it is every time failed because of the point which I made. But why plastic? You see, plastic has a life from 200 years to 500 years, and it gets in the soil. I think in the beginning also there was a question related to the plastic bag. I think you asked or somebody else.
Yes.
But so plastic itself is a hydrocarbon product, and it is much dangerous.
Very dangerous.
It destroys the soil, it destroys the air, and it destroys the water. So Jal ka hai, Prithvi ka hai, Vayu ka hai, all three are almost damaged. That's why plastic, first of all, plastic should have not been brought into the picture, but it was brought up, and now it has many various kinds of applications, including even the tables also, chairs, many kinds, even shoes, chappals, not only plastic bag. Plastic is inside the house. It is inside our house also. Plastic doors, that is polypropylene, you know. The plastic has many kinds of variety of compounds.
It's very dangerous.
It is very dangerous. I agree, but it has been, effort has been done in various, even in USA, efforts were done earlier when I think when I was a student for almost 40 years back.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was not successful.
Thank you, Professor Rajmal Jain, for answering to the questions. And yes, you are right that we have to make now the slogan Parigraha Parmo Dharma. Acharya Mahapragya said it
Yes.
first time that ahimsa is possible only through a parigraha. So non-violence cannot be possible until we control our desires and we control using all this stuff. So that's why we have to put control on our desires and consumptions and accumulations of such kind of things which are damaging our environment or creating pollution in the air or earth and water, etc. So Professor Rajmal Jain has already said that since the users are in such a big number and because of their demand, things are coming into market. If they can control themselves, then why the producers will produce such kind of things which are harmful for our life, for the environment, for the earth?
Yes, you are right. So ahimsa basically has to be, looked not only even aparigraha, but from anekantvad,
Yes.
non-absolutism also. So all these three, ahimsa,
Yes.
aparigraha, anekantvad, they all are, integrated, or it is some kind of a one thing. So we
Yes.
cannot split up separately. But currently our course, which we are talking, is non-violence. But every time I bring this aparigraha,
Yes.
so
in the
thank you.
Sutra Kritang Sutra, that is the one of the scriptures of Jain tradition, and in that particular scripture, Mahavir says that the main cause of violence is accumulation, attachment, desires, or you can say creating all these kind of desires to get all these this kind of stuff. So until and unless we control our own greed, we cannot control the violence.
Yeah, that is the whole which I wanted to say, and I told in my lecture.
Yes, your emphasis is always on greed.
Emphasis is always on that
Yes.
Our desire first thing, the
Yes.
lifestyle,
Yeah.
greed.
Yes.
See, passion, ego, all these things make the various kinds of violences.
Correct. Any
आप
other?
कहाँ रहते हैं इंडिया में?
अहमदाबाद.
अच्छा.
मैं अहमदाबाद, मैं ओके, मैं अपना थोड़ा सा परिचय देता हूँ. मैं राजस्थान में बिलोंग करता हूँ, और राजस्थान के अंदर एक जो साउथ ईस्ट राजस्थान है, वहाँ डूंगरपुर डिस्ट्रिक्ट है. वहाँ सागवाड़ा करके एक टाउन है, बहुत बड़ा जैनों का गढ़ है, ऐसा कह सकते हैं. जैन लोग बहुत हैं. तो और आज जिसने मंगलाचरण किया था, जिस भाई लड़के ने, मिस्टर अक्षय जैन, वो मेरे गांव के सागवाड़ा के पास एक छोटा सा गांव है भिलूड़ा का, वहां के रहने वाले थे. अक्षय जैन अभी हैं कि नहीं मुझे नहीं मालूम, लेकिन
Might be he has gone. Yeah.
ही इज चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट.
अभी अहमदाबाद रहते हैं आप?
और मैं रहता हूँ क्योंकि मेरा जॉब फिर इसरो में, यहाँ पहले तो उदयपुर में था जब मैंने सोलर ऑब्जर्वेटरी वहाँ स्टैब्लिश की थी, फिर अहमदाबाद था, और अब रिटायरमेंट के बाद अहमदाबाद भी रहता हूँ और पूना में भी रहता हूँ.
अच्छा, आपका एड्रेस भेजेंगे तो अच्छा रहेगा. मेरी ग्रैंड डॉटर वहाँ आई है.
ये पीपीटी जो था, तो मेरी लास्ट पीपीटी स्लाइड पे मेरा ईमेल आईडी भी है और मेरा मोबाइल नंबर भी है, व्हाट्सएप नंबर भी है.
अच्छा.
फिर भी मैं अगली बार जो है, मेरी एक स्लाइड में पूरा जो है वो मेरा कार्ड जो है उसका फोटो खींच के मैं उसमें रख दूंगा.
जी
So
जी
that
जी
you can
जी
see
कुछ
the
भी
address.
करिए. हाँ वो
Or if you send me your WhatsApp number, or if you send to Maharaj Saab WhatsApp,
हाँ जी हाँ
I
जी
will send you my this whole address. Okay.
या
जी.
जी जी थैंक यू.
जय
So thank
जिनेंद्र.
you very much.
जय
Anybody have
जिनेंद्र.
any other question?
महाराज साहब
Just,
आपके चरणों में वंदामी
Yes.
मांगलिक फरमाएंगे.
वंदामी मां.
मांगलिक फर
So thank you very much, Professor Rajmalji Jain. You are giving wonderful talk and very informative talks, and it will really create awareness in the mind of the participants. From today's lecture, everybody should take one at least on the vow that we will keep silence. We will observe silence at least for 1 hour in a day. Is it possible?
Yes.
This is very important.
Yeah. And we should also be very much conscious about the use of mobiles and other electronic means, which are also creating such kind of violence to the microbes of the environment. So we can keep our mobiles, what we say, on silent mode or closed when we are sleeping, at least. Okay, when we are not using, for the time being, we can keep them closed, so that it should not create any kind of violence to the environment. So that can also be done easily. It is not something which I am saying to come out of your comfort zones, but you can do that without coming out of your comfort zones. So we are not using 24 hours, but we should fix the particular time for using all these electronic devices. That from this time to this time, our mobile would be open, otherwise they will be closed. Messages can come and you can just see. If it is necessary, you can talk to the person.
And again, one more request, please, whatever numbers you are there, please convey this message to all those families where newly born baby has taken birth, baby is born. Okay, so mother should not use the mobile close to the baby. Okay.
Yes.
Please convey this message.
The small children are getting infection in the blood. You couldn't imagine that how they could get such kind of infections in the blood. They are not eating such kind of things or doing anything or not using these electronic means. But nowadays we are finding that this kind of problems are coming before us.
Now, what I wish to say, baby is not doing anything wrong in the world after taking birth. It is only 2 days, 3 days, or 1 month baby. Okay, but mother is using the mobile close to that, and I told that electromagnetic waves which are there and how they are, I mean, dangerous to the newly born, the soft tissues, the cells, the long-term wavelength waves and the short. Okay, electromagnetic field, don't create electromagnetic field close to the baby. आपको याद होगा भगवान महावीर ने हमेशा ये कहा था, अपना मुंह अपने भगवान जो भी है नॉर्थ ईस्ट में रख. नॉर्थ ईस्ट में
ईशान कोना में.
नॉर्थ ईस्ट इज द लाइन, यू सी, वेयर, और हम लोग बोलते हैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट भगवान का घर है उधर. सो they told in those days in a qualitative way, but basically the meaning Bhadrabahu told that Tejas is a very strong thing and don't excite Tejas so as to take your life. So कर्म लिखते लिखते ऐसा भी ना हो कि आपके लाइफ भी खत्म हो जाए. So Tejas is a very strong thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
have a good day. आपका सुबह हुआ है.
I am sending this video to my university professors to see that what they can do.
Have a nice weekend. And Maharaj Sahab, आपसे request है, please send the link again, once again, to all these my lectures. वो पहले आया था.
Yes. I thought to send all the other links which I have not yet shared with you. So I thought that I have to send today.
Okay. Good.
Thank you. चत्तारि मंगलम अरहंता मंगलम सिद्धा मंगलम साहु मंगलम केवली पन्नतो धम्मो मंगलम चत्तारि लघुत्तमा अरहंता लघुत्तमा सिद्धा लघुत्तमा साहु लघुत्तमा केवली पन्नतो धम्मो लघुत्तमो चत्तारि शरणं पवच्चामि अर्हन्ते शरणं पवच्चामि सिद्धे शरणं पवच्चामि साहु शरणं पवच्चामि केवली पन्नतं धम्मं शरणं पवच्चामि। ठीक है, लीव करते हैं।
वंदामी समणी जी,
हाँ,
छोटे समणी जी को भी वंदना साता पूछता हूँ।
हाँ
वंदामी नमस्कार समणी
हाँ हाँ।
जय जिनेन्द्र तू प्रोफेसर जी, बहुत अच्छा लेक्चर था आज।